you ladies look lovely today.
We always look lovely.
Are you trying to find a prince today?
No, I'm trying to find a king.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Magic Kingdom Keeper. If you've been here before, welcome back, and if you have never been here before, just normal welcome. So today I'm going to be talking about why I think it's worth it to go to Disney World right now, even though it is 2020 and things are weird. Oh. Ooh. Dracula's gonna say hi real quick. He was getting in a bag and it was gonna be loud. Say hi to your fans, Dracula. Anyways, back to it. So, I 100% understand if you do not want to go to Disney World for health reasons, for monetary reasons. This is a really, really hard time. So I'm not saying that it's for everyone, but Drax, stop it. But if you do have the opportunity to go, I'm going to tell you kind of about our trip, like a little overview and the things I liked, some of the things that I didn't like, because I want to be totally transparent. No trip to Disney is perfect in my opinion, but there's still magic there. We still had a great time, and I just really want to share that with you guys. So, okay. A little bit about me. I am a super hyper mega planner. I have every moment planned. We stay the maximum amount of time in the parks usually. Every minute's planned. I use touring plans. They do not sponsor me, but I do think that they're really great and fun. If you like planning, it's a really, really good resource. So, I'm a super crazy planner. And this trip came about a month, maybe a little bit more than a month before we were gonna go, but it also wasn't a sure thing. We kind of started planning about a month-ish beforehand, but we didn't solidify plans until I think about maybe 3 weeks before we went. My travel partner and I were on the fence for very good reason, you know, considering the everything going on, how safe it's gonna be. We read a bunch of articles. I looked at a bunch of Disney Facebook groups where people talked about going, but we decided to go. So I didn't have a lot of time to plan. We don't really care a super lot about eating at Disney restaurants, even though I love food. I love restaurants. That just wasn't our goal this trip. So we didn't have to make advance reservations since you don't have to make fast passes right now. We didn't have to do that. Pretty much we picked a resort, which was the Pop Century Resort, and then we just went. And I honestly really liked that because I still got excited. I still planned a little bit. I'm gonna use the Touring Plans app to kind of figure out our days, kind of see how many rides we may be able to go on. We also had to leave the parks a few days early while we were there because my travel partner had to work online. So anyways, I really liked it, and I'm gonna tell you throughout this the things I like and I don't like, and then probably at the end I'll just kind of summarize what I liked. So we flew in Tuesday night. We got in from the Magical Express. We got to the resort at about 9, maybe a little after 9. So we did have a little bit of problems with getting our resort room number. I think there was a glitch in the system, which seems to have happened. So when I was at the airport, when we had landed, I actually called them and they ended up sending it to us. They were super quick about that and super nice. So if you do not have your resort reservation when you should, which is, you know, like about 3 o'clock on that day, make sure to call them. So we got to the resort and we dropped off our bags because we had to go to Disney Springs, which closed a little bit earlier in October. I don't know if I said that. We went in October 2020, so it is gonna be November now, maybe December before I post this video. Just so you know, it was October 2020. So the hours for Disney Springs, a lot of things that weren't food closed at 10 o'clock. So we dropped off our bags really fast. We got an Uber. We got to Disney Springs. We searched frantically for the town center because neither of us can apparently read a map or figure stuff out. But we did ask someone, they showed us where it was, and it was great. We got a treat, which you will see. And it was a jack-o'-lantern float. I can't remember exactly what it was called. And it was like a creamsicle float, essentially. So it was not pumpkin flavored. It was cute, but very, very expensive. We got it at a gelato shop and it was expensive. But anyways, it was our first treat at Disney, so it was fun. And we got chicken guide that night. And it was really delicious. The only thing is the inside of that restaurant is really small, and with social distancing, it is really hard. So we didn't feel super comfortable in there while we were waiting for our order, but it was really good. I'd heard a million good things about it. The sauces are fantastic. We had a really good time and we were very hungry. So we did that, and then we took a bus back to our resort. So we pretty much conked out after that, and we were planning on waking up early the next morning because I would rather be on one of the first buses than sleep in. I don't usually sleep in anyway, so anyone who knows me in real life is not surprised by that. So we woke up the next morning, got ready, got cute, and then we got in line for Magic Kingdom around 6:45. We tried mobile ordering for the first time on this trip. I don't think we've done it very often on other trips either, so we're not super pros at it. It's not hard or anything, but we mobile ordered on our phone for the Pop Century dining thing. I'll put up the name for it because I can't remember anything. And it was a little interesting because it was a little bit confusing figuring out where you had to line up. So my travel partner went to get the food. It was a little bit confusing on where you go, so she was asking questions and she didn't get super nice responses. So she actually went to talk to the front desk, and they gave her one of the metal drink cups where you can refill with all the sodas and stuff, which is a little bit different right now because they put it in a cup and then you pour it into your reusable cup for them, which is a little wasteful, but I see why they want to do that during this time. So anyways, she got past it. I got a bagel. I know I say bagel weird. If you want to comment on it, it'll be like all the comments I get my whole life. So I got like a bagel breakfast sandwich, and that was delicious. And I really liked that, so that was really good. And when we were lined up, so at 6:45, this was on a Wednesday morning, the line, it was social distance, but it was all the way to the end of like the switchback queue. And then by the time we got a bus, the line had filled the entire area where the drop-off is as far as like by the resort. So it didn't block any of the doors to go in, but it filled the whole other area, which I'll show you, and it was crazy. So we actually got on the second bus that came up, but it left first. So we got to Magic Kingdom before the park opened. We got in pretty early, and we were gonna go on Splash Mountain first because we didn't want to wait in a super long line for it, and since it is going to get a refurbishment soon to be Princess and the Frog themed, we decided that we wanted to go on it a few times, and it was not open. So we went on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, which is of course a fantastic ride. Then we went on Haunted Mansion because it's not super far. It's kind of far, but we thought Splash Mountain still wasn't open. And then we came back and we went on Splash Mountain. And then we went on Peter Pan's Flight. We went on It's a Small World. We went on Pirates. We did have to wait multiple times for that ride because it ended up breaking down for a few hours. So we waited about 30 minutes and then we left that queue, and then we came back later and waited, I think, about 25 minutes. That is one of the rides that actually has a longer line than it usually would because of the loading capacity. So that's okay. And you know, of course, they do clean the rides every 2 hours, which we appreciate. So there were a few waits that might have been a little bit longer because of that as well. So we went on a lot of the main rides that people like to go on. I think we might have gone on Space Mountain. We went on Space Mountain. We looked the wrong way for the picture, which is stupid because we've both been on the ride before, so that's a fun picture. And we actually went back to the resort about 1 or 2 so that my travel partner could work and I could nap. And that was a really fantastic, actually, because as I said before, I usually spend as much time in the parks. I make myself sick. I really didn't want to get sick for very obvious reasons for 2020, and I have been working this whole time because I am, I do work in animal care, so I have been working throughout 2020, and it was really nice to have a break that wasn't super tiring. So we napped, and then we went to the pool, and it was very, 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 very crowded because of course the parks close early, so we didn't stay very long because we weren't super comfortable with people being without masks, but we did stay 6 feet apart. 6 feet apart from people, and we pretty much just, I believe, slept after that. We ate at the Pop Century Resort for food again that night, if I remember correctly, which I could remember correctly and I could not. Who knows? So the next day was going to be a full day in the park, so it was going to be Epcot, and because Epcot opens a lot later, I believe it opened at 11, we wanted to spend the whole day there and not have to do the work stuff, so that person didn't have to work that day. So what we did, because I am all about getting in line early, and the buses have been running a little bit later because they don't want people to crowd the entry area. So what we did is actually waited in line for the Skyliner for Hollywood Studios, which opened an hour earlier, and we took the Skyliner to Hollywood Studios, and then we walked from the path between Hollywood Studios and the boardwalk area, and then we got to Epcot that way. So it was actually a really great plan. So we started waiting in line for the Skyliner really early because I had heard that it got really long, and it did get very long. I couldn't even see the end of the line by the time it started running, and so I think got in line about 6:30, and it ran just a little bit after 8. So what we did was we got to the boardwalk. We got a parfait from the Boardwalk Bakery, which was fantastic. If you want a little bit of a healthier breakfast, really great fruit, really great yogurt. It was delightful. So we did that, and then we walked to Epcot, which wasn't very far. And when we were in line, we were probably about 50 people back. So we were still very early. And so we got in early, probably about like 10:09, and since we were at the International Gateway side instead of the main entrance, we hoofed it to Frozen because we wanted to get on one of the big rides right away. And we were probably the first 20 people on the ride. They said they weren't going to let us until the park opened, but the ride, which I get why they say, because they don't want people to get they don't want to get people's hopes up, but then they got the ride running earlier, so we got on within 15 minutes. It was phenomenal. It was amazing. So we did that, and then we hoofed it over to Test Track because we knew it would get long. And when we got in the line, it said 80 or 85 minutes. It was crazy. But I was like, you know what? If we get this out of the way, then we won't have to wait in very many lines later. So we waited. It ended up being only 45 minutes, which is a totally valid wait for that ride, honestly, on a normal day. So honestly, maybe a little lower than a normal day when we're not in 2020. So we did that. That was great. We also that day went on Living with the Land, Soarin', the Three Caballeros ride, Nemo. I think we just didn't go on Journey into the Imagination with Figment, and we walked around, we ate some kiosk food, we did, I don't know, I felt like we did a lot, but when I'm talking about it, it doesn't seem like a super ton. It did rain a little bit that day, but we were luckily undercover and we waited it out. We saw one of the cavalcades, the Mickey and Friends cavalcade. We met Joy, which was a really fun experience. I really liked that. Does rain make you happy? Yeah, it's beautiful. We did that earlier. It was great. We looked so cute. You know what brings me joy? Being here and seeing you. Thank you. Oh my gosh, you're amazing. And we just kind of really enjoyed our day. So our favorite part of the day, because every day we asked each other, what's the favorite part of the day? What was our least favorite part of the day? You know, why do we like it maybe a little bit better right now? And we both said food. So we were really hungry. We had mostly just eaten snacks all day. So we wanted to have what I call real food, which essentially means protein, I feel like, in my mind. So it's not like a floofy snack that, I don't know, sugary or carby or whatever. So we couldn't find any reservations because there's a lot of limited capacity, so they can't seat as many people. But we walked up to Spice Red Table around 4 o'clock and we hoped that we could wait for a seat if they would do that. And they said, oh yeah, of course we have seats. And we were the only one seated outside. And by the end we weren't, but it was fantastic. We got one huge platter, and then we got a appetizer and a dessert, and the dessert was a pistachio custardy thing, which was fantastic. We got calamari, and then we got a plate that had some lamb, I think some chicken, some tabbouleh, pita, all of the stuff that you love when you're eating Moroccan food, if you like Moroccan food, which we do. And then we saw a double rainbow. It was a beautiful view. We were right by the water, so we saw the friendship boat going back and forth, and it was really great. I accidentally broke a glass because I'm kind of a dingus, but that's okay. So we had a really great time, and it was a really good dinner. And since we shared the main meal, it wasn't super expensive. We got iced tea because we love iced tea. Anyways, I don't know why you would need to know that, but now you do. So it was really great. So that was one of our favorite days. We rode the Skyliner back to the resort about 6:30. And can I just tell you, staying on a Skyliner resort, not having to wait for the bus at the end of the day is fantastic. I mean, I just can't talk about it enough because the Skyliner is relaxing, unless you're afraid of heights. It is they're fun views. It's really fast. It's amazing. So I definitely recommend staying at a Skyliner resort, especially if you're not afraid of being in a pod vehicle really high up in the air, which some people are. But yeah, it just kind of feels like a ride. So it's just a really chill, calm ride, and I love it. So the next day we went to Animal Kingdom, which opened earlier. I believe it opened at 8. So my travel partner had to work that night too, so we thought it was a perfect day for a park that opened early. We got in super early. We went on Flight of Passage. We went on Navi River really fast before the official park opening. Expedition Everest was closed for most of the day, which was really sad because that's one of our favorite rides. But the only ride we didn't go on by the end of the day was Cali River Rapids, because I don't mind it, but meh. And so we went on Dinosaur multiple times. We went on the safari with no wait, and I will have a video of the safari because of course it's animal related, so I'm gonna have a video about it. But the Kilimanjaro Safaris is such a good ride, and I was actually told from someone from Africa who was a supervisor at a zoo I interned at that it is the best kind of simulation of a safari for not being in Africa. Like the closest thing they had seen besides, of course, the real safari in Africa. So not perfect, not nearly as good as being in Africa, but I just thought that was a really cool comparison from someone who would know way more about it than I have because I've never been to Africa. So fantastic. We also went on the Gorilla Falls Trail, which was really cool, and we, I don't know, we walked around, we shopped a little bit, We ate lunch at the Satuli Canteen, which was phenomenal. If you want something that's a little less heavy, it's just protein and a base. It could be salad, it could be rice, it could be noodles, and then, you know, you pick your sauce. It was just really, really great. And we also had a cheeseburger pod, which I showed in my cheeseburger pod video. And it was just such a good day. We left about 1 or 2 o'clock, but we had gotten done with almost everything except for we didn't go on the Maharaja Trail, which was, you know, one of those things where she had to get back to work. I wanted another nap, so it worked out. So we napped, and then we went to Disney Springs that night and went to dinner at the Frontera Cocina, and it was really expensive, but really, really delicious. So I recommend that if you, Dracula, you're being loud. If you really like tequila and you really like margaritas, Dracula, please don't. If you really like tequila and you really like margaritas, that's a great place. I don't, but the food was also really great. Cat distractions. That happens a lot. So that was really great. And then the next day we went to Magic Kingdom, and that was a super fun day because my travel partner and I went on a bunch of rides that neither of us had gone on ever. So Astro Orbiter, the Carousel, Magic Carpets of Aladdin, the Tomorrowland Speedway. There were probably some other rides, but it was really cool. Although our longest wait of the day was for the carousel, and I don't think it's worth it. It was fun. It was, you know, it was very traditional Disney because it was a, you know, opening ride in October of 1971. So, you know what? It was a great experience, but probably won't do it again, which is kind of why we wanted to do it. We also went on Haunted Mansion, we went on Pirates again, we went on the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So on Saturday, I didn't say this, but we got in so early. So early. We were like some of the first people in the park. They let us in about an hour early. Please don't do that. I love you. Oh. All right, I'm gonna hold him and maybe he'll stop making noise. Okay, so they let us in super early. We went on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train twice in like 20 minutes. It was insane. So I definitely recommend getting in line early at your resort or taking an Uber is a little hard right now because they stop people from coming in early. So I'm not sure exactly how that works, but it was really great. And then we did all of these other rides. The Astro Orbiter was actually really cool. I really liked the views of that. So, all right. I need to stop being distracted by my cat. It's a hard life. So that was our day there. It was just kind of a traditional great day. Something I didn't say from Wednesday when we were at Magic Kingdom, we actually had a really, really good spot. We ate at Pecos Bill's Tall Tale Inn, which is, you know, just kind of like Tex-Mex food that's marginal but still delicious. Nothing special, I mean. And a bunch of cavalcades went by right next to us, so that was really good. We saw, I think, 3 or 4 within an hour, and so that was a great spot. I don't know if that would always happen for you if you ate there around lunchtime, but it was really cool, and I really enjoyed it. And I really like the cavalcades more than parades. I'm sorry, that might trigger some people. I don't know how many people are going to watch this video, but somebody might not like that. But we really enjoyed that. So, I got a little distracted. Anyways, our Saturday, we stayed most of the day. It was really nice. We, I think, ate at the resort that night, and we just kind of chilled out, and it was really nice. So then on Sunday, we, it was Hollywood Studios, and although I like a lot of the rides there, it had never felt like a park that I necessarily wanted to spend all day with the atmosphere and stuff, and I think that's a common complaint for that park, but that ended up being our favorite day ever. So what we did, because I like to find ways to get there early and stand in line, we We made a mobile order at the Boardwalk Bakery and then took an Uber over to the boardwalk, and then we walked to Hollywood Studios from there. And I can't remember exactly what time we got there, but we were the first people in line. I was the first person in line, which is amazing. And so this day was just bonkers. We actually waited in some of the longest lines that day, but overall, we waited not very much that day, so it kind of evened out. So we'll go into it. So we get in, we are some of the first people in, we walk really fast over to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway because we've never been on it, and that ride is so cute and the technology is really cool, and I totally recommend it. It was just really, really fun. So we did that. Then we raced over to Slinky Dog, rode it twice within like 20 minutes, and then we went on Alien Swirling Saucers, which is not a ride that I recommend spending a lot of time waiting for, but it's a really fun ride. I don't know, I really like it. So by that time, it was finally park open, or close to park open, so we found a spot to sit by the bathrooms in Toy Story Land, and we waited to get a Rise of the Resistance boarding pass. So I don't really like Star Wars that much, sorry, but I have heard great things about this ride. I also kind of wanted the challenge of getting the boarding pass, and so we were ready. I had really good service. My mom looked at the world clock so I could start refreshing a little bit early, and we got group 26 or 27. I don't know, one of them. So we got the boarding group, and I was just so relieved and I was so happy, but I still was like, I don't know if I'm gonna love this ride the best ever, but here we go. So then after that, we went on Toy Story Mania, we went on Tower of Terror, which we waited probably like 40 minutes for Tower of Terror. Rock and Roller Coaster was closed almost the whole day, which we were also sad about because that is one of our favorite rides at that park. I mean, honestly, I like all of the rides at that park. I know I said it wasn't my favorite park, but it has so many good rides. So we ended up getting called for our boarding group, I think around noon. And so we went and got in line for Rise of the Resistance. I think we waited 30 to 40 minutes once we were in line. And can I just tell you that even though I don't care about Star Wars, that ride made me want to cry because it was so good. I got off the ride and I was kind of emotional, and I was not expecting that at all, but wow, 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 wow. It's worth it. It's worth all the stress of trying to get it. By the way, the boarding pass system works a little bit different now, where if you have a reservation pass for that park that day, which is what Disney World's doing right now, so if you don't know, you have to make reservations for a park at this moment. And that's the only park you can go to during the day. So there's no park hopper or anything, so they can keep it under the percent that they're doing, which was 25% at the time, and I think their park capacity is 35% now. Besides the point. So now you do it at 7. If you have that park reservation for the day, you can do it from your hotel room. If you live close to Disney, you know, you could do it from your house and then drive over. So that was, do it. Do it, do it, do it. If you're, I mean, I don't know. I didn't really think it was that scary. It was a trackless ride, so it didn't do anything like super duper crazy. But it was so cool. It was 3 different experiences at once. Please don't, Drac. Ugh, we got a Drac back, so he stops. So it was like 3 different experiences in one ride. I don't know. It was amazing. And then we waited 60 minutes for the Millennium Falcon, which was silly because it was short the rest of the day, but that's okay. Being social distance makes waiting in line a lot better, in my opinion. And then we ate at Ronto Roasters. Ronto's Roaster. There's an S in there somewhere. And we had a Ronto wrap, and that was really good. And then we went on Rock and Roller Coaster. So this was our longest line the whole trip. I think we waited about 70 minutes. But we really liked that ride. It was closed all day. We totally get it. And then we went on Mickey and Minnie's again, and I don't know, had a fantastic day. And then that night we went to Disney Springs because we wanted to buy some stuff for people, some caramel apples and whatnot, but we didn't want to have to get them on our last day. So We ate at Deluxe Burger, which was delightful. We did mobile order, and then we sat outside because they have seating, so that was really good. And then the next day we did Magic Kingdom, but honestly, I think we just went on 3 or 4 rides. Space Mountain twice. I think we might have gone on Haunted Mansion again and maybe Pirates, but we, you know, it was our 3rd day. I mean, not full days all the other days, but our 3rd day in Magic Kingdom, and we just kind of wanted to take in the Disney energy and get back to our resort in enough time to, you know, leave, unfortunately. But we did pack up everything Sunday night and then Monday morning, so we were already out of the resort, out of our room, and we just stayed in the park. We did some shopping, and it was just a really good time. Then we went back to the resort and waited for our Tragical Express, as they call it. I don't think I said it, but we stayed in the 70s building, which we really liked because it was close to the front. It wasn't that far from the Skyliner. It was at a really good spot. So I think the 60s and 70s are really good resorts to stay in, but of course that pool's going to be busier, and you know, you might just have more people around because it's more in the hub, but we didn't notice any crazy noises, so that was really good. But so overall, things I loved: cavalcades, because waiting for a parade while I could be going on rides, not my favorite thing, but if you stumble upon a cavalcade, great, and they were really fun and really well themed and short, so I loved that. I loved the social distancing in the lines. That was fantastic. I just loved how not stressful it was. I wasn't racing from Fast Pass to Fast Pass, which is what I usually do. And you know, I guess that's a personal choice. I don't have to live my Disney life like that, but I do. So it was kind of nice to just take it a little bit slow. Now that more places have mobile ordering, I really like that. So you're not having to wait in more lines. Please don't, Drac. So you don't have to wait in more lines, and I don't know, I just really still liked the atmosphere. I'm not a huge fireworks person. I mean, they're great. Last trip, my mom and I, we went to the California Grill on the top of the Contemporary and watched the show with the music piped in there, the fireworks, so that was really, really cool. So I can enjoy the experience, but it's not what I'm there for. I do miss the character meet and greets though, but they do have characters around. We saw Drusilla around and Anastasia, the evil stepsisters. We saw Belle. We saw Chip and Dale. You know, so it doesn't mean that you're not going to see characters. It's just in a little bit of a different context. So there were a lot of things I liked. Some things that I didn't like were trying to find the end of the line. Sometimes you might have passed it and not known it and then have to walk all the way back. You know, as I said, not having the meet and greets with the characters is sad. You know, everyone's morale is a little bit low for valid reasons. A lot of people got laid off at Disney. A lot of people are in stressful spots if you're talking about the visitors as well. So there was a little bit less, you know, people, I don't know, I couldn't see people smiling, I guess, because of the masks, but there was just a little bit less of the cast members talking to you, which I get. They don't want people stopping. You know, there was less camaraderie with the people in line because you were far away from them, and that does take a little bit away from the experience. And, you know, there weren't the interactive things that you could touch, which are always fun. So there were, you know, there are a few things that I did miss, but for the most part, I had a really, really great time, and I would definitely recommend it. As I said, if you feel safe enough to go, and if you have the money to go, if you love Disney and it's not your first time, and you don't need every experience because you've already been there, it's actually a really, really good trip. So that's all I have to say about it. I mean, well, it's me, so I could probably talk for 400 hours, but I wouldn't put you guys through that, I promise. But I hope you all have a great day, and if you have any questions about it, feel free to comment. You know, I don't know how many people are going to watch this video, but if you are someone who wants to know about Disney, I would love to talk to you about it. So have a great day.